All right, we in the building. Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are every day. People like to welcome you all to the show. Look, I'm getting ready to bring in the panel. We're going to discuss a very important topic. It's titled America to Liberia, 1822. Let's get it started. What's going on, family? How y'all feeling? Welcome to the show.
Salute. What's happening, bro?
Hello.
Going on,
There
brother
we go.
Black?
What's going on, fam? So we going. We got Sister Pebbles in the building. OG Alex and Pan African more. We're going to discuss a very important topic simply because, as we stated in previous shows, how everything comes back around in time. Now, if you look at the current situation where Trump just told the Somalians to go back to where you came from, and then called Ilian Omar garbage, right? Basically trash, right? And it's ridiculous, in this day and time. But I just want to compare the fact that you had black people in 1822, 13,000 of them were sent to Liberia. And now you have a lot of Africans that's coming to the Americas, right? That some people are like, but so on this particular show, we're trying to bridge that gap to where we can show the importance of unity, right? And we want to break down the situation on what took place and what happened, right? So we getting into Liberia. So now, when you check this out, right, you will see right in the screen. Can y'all see that screen?
Yes.
You see? Okay. It says,
Yes.
all right. It says Liberia was picked for African Americans in 1822 by the American Colonization Society, right? The ACS, right? Because of a mix of reasons, right? Some supported the idea of giving formerly enslaved people a new home where they could supposedly find more freedom and prosperity, while others, particularly slaveholders, wanted to remove free black people from the U.S. to reduce the risk of slave rebellions. The ACS acquired land on the West African coast and established the colony, which would eventually become Republic of Liberia, which was the first republic of Africa, right?
Wow.
Now, we finna get into the history part, and we're going to discuss this, right? Check this out here. So, this gentleman right here, right? That's King Peter, or known as um, Zolu Damu, right? He was the one that they bought the land from in Liberia to bring the blacks over there, right? Now, hold on, check this out, y'all. We get into it. I just want to make sure this is the right one. Okay, here we go. Check this out. The land of the American Colonization Society, right? They initially sold by local African leaders, including King Peter in 1821, which is King Peter. However, the acquisition was uh, conceived with ACS agents like Eli Aries and Robert Stockton, allegedly threatening King Peter at gunpoint to sell the land. The ACS also later acquired additional land through coercion, annexation, and leases, right? And bam, that's the ACS, American Colonization Society. That's they seal, right?
Mm.
Still practicing today, right? Now, these people had a group backed by the government, money, forced this man to get land in Africa to send back 13,000 freed Africans, right? Now, this is the thing. And we're going to discuss all of this, right? Now, this is what goes back to the Moors, right? Okay. So, hold on. But what was not the Sundrack was 1790. So it was another act that America signed with the Moors. No, 1790 was when the Moors, when the Morocco government said that America couldn't treat the Moors as slaves and had to free them, and they were walking through America not with the slave status. Am I correct, Pan African Moor?
I think that's 1786. I think you're talking about the Moroccan treaty with the United States.
Okay,
The
1786.
first one was 17. The first one was 1786, and then you have the 1836 treaty,
Okay, so check this out.
which is still active to this day, and it's a part of federal law.
Okay, so now we now check this out. Okay, so the quote unquote what they call Native Americans, right? They said they didn't want to go to Liberia, but the 13,000 of the freedmen Moors they went, right? So I guess the question I'm asking is first we're gonna put ourselves in that position, right? If you were present at that time, would you to volunteer to go to Liberia or would you to stay in the Americas saying that America, this is my country? Because you had two mindsets back then. You had the black natives who was here, and then you had the other, what they would call Toms, who didn't want to leave master. Right. So back in that time, would you to went to Liberia or would you stayed in the Americas? And it don't matter who.
You, you go where the opportunity is. I mean, if it's an opportunity to get out of a desperate situation, then that's where you're gonna go. For preservation. Whether it's self-preservation, family preservation, you're gonna make that logical move.
Huh? What you say, Pebble?
To me, I would say I'm both staying and going. Both presents opportunities, but oh man, that's a good one. I'm like right in the middle because
Okay.
of course going to somewhere new it does offer um like it was mentioned the opportunities, but also when you leave a part of you behind.
Mm, mm. Family.
Well, I
What you
think,
say there?
uh, I guess if you look at it like this, if somebody's already endangered my life, am I going to trust them to take me somewhere else? You know what I mean? I think the unknown, even though it's an opportunity, but it's still the unknown. It could be just taking me to my death. So it's a matter of how much trust do I have in that where I'm, the first boat ride wasn't, my understanding was they tricked them to get them over here, told them they can work, come do this and do that. And then it didn't turn out that way. So then I'm gonna take a second boat ride with you to go, that could be anywhere, So I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to say that opportunity that's outside my elements.
Mm, yeah. So so the ACS, right? The ACS, the American Colonization Society, along with Monroe, that's how you got President Monroe. That's how you got Monrovia, Liberia. They
Wow.
came together and they deemed it, hey, this would be a good idea because why? We want to cut down on slave rebellions. Let's look into that. So that means to say that it had been a point in time where a lot of slaves on different plantations were saying, hey man, we not this. They started acting up,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then that meant that, hold on, that meant that the population of black people in America started to grow. Right now, this is the thing. This is the thing. Unity, right? In those dire situations, I think we were forced to rely on one another. I would say the collective,
Yeah.
right? But what happened when they came to Liberia? Now,
Mm.
my theory was is we've been for 400 years taught at the hand of the colonizer, right? We couldn't read, couldn't write, and he poured his mind into us. So when we went back to Africa, it seems as if maybe they were saying we came back arrogant and wanted to rule. Time comes back around again for a circle. Now that is what we say about the Africans who come back to America today. They act like they arrogant and like they better than us. Well, when we came in 1822, they were saying that about us when we came over there, right?
Right.
I'm getting at something. I'm getting at something to where to try to understand our mentality and how we see each other and how we see the world, because it seems like we go heading into 2026 and we still have some of these issues that we seem to can't get over,
Yeah.
right?
I
Is
agree.
that due to the fact that we've been under his leadership, under this rule?
I think that plays a big part in it. Even though we have families and you have traditions passed down through generations, it's still tainted. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of what we know, and it's based on survival. So I think that having that mentality, and when something dramatic happens, that's in the bloodline. That's passed down through the blood. So it's kind of like your mindset is totally different based on what you see and what you've experienced, and then what's right in front of you, and you go about trying to change it. But what you experience and what someone else experienced, maybe not the exact same thing, but they similar. I think we can all relate on that. But I think a few of us want to make a change right away, and some have a different ways of going about it. But we all want to change.
Okay. We're Pan African more real quick. What were some of the conflicts that took place between the African Americans that came to Liberia and the quote unquote natives that was already there?
Okay, so I was gonna mention this before the show started. I think you missed it though, but I was gonna ask you if I could read a brief summary. I could read through it fast on what happened,
Yes, sir.
if it's okay.
Oh yeah, this knowledge base.
O-
This is for the people. So
Okay,
definitely.
so the African Americans that came from America, they're called the Americo-Liberians. So it reads, the conflicts between Americo-Liberians and indigenous Liberians were primarily initiated by the Americo-Liberian settlers and the American Colonization Society through coercive land acquisition, exploitation, and political and economic dominance. The first deadly conflict, the DEI, probably pronounced there, Settler War of 1822, was a direct result of the violent means used to acquire land from the indigenous Liberian people. These tensions and practices of dominance continued throughout Liberia's history, leading to the civil wars of the late 20th century. Land acquisition. The American Colonization Society and early settlers often used force, coercion, and intimidation to take land from the indigenous Liberian groups. Economic exploitation. Settlers exploited native Liberians as a source of cheap labor and dominated trade, which created resentment and fueled conflict. Political and social dominance. Americo-Liberians established a political and economic elite that marginalized the indigenous Liberians population through practices like segregation and limited political representation, which contributed to escalating tensions. Cultural differences. Cultural differences included language and religion, further created a divide and fostered an atmosphere of mistrust between the groups. And as a side note, the Americo-Liberians, they basically brought the Christian religion along with the regalia of everything that they took from the Europeans, including their politics and their elitist attitude.
Oh,
And in closing.
Wow, there you go.
Sounds
So
like a setup.
why you say the setup, Pebble?
I said because to me it's like a setup to create division.
Right. Right.
Absolutely, because when you go into someone's territory, why not become familiar with their customs? At least show some respect.
I agree.
So the master of divide and conquer
Did it again.
done it again.
Right.
Wow. So it's not him. Right? I'm thinking. It's not him.
It's the strategy.
It's right. It's not him. We haven't studied him to figure out why and he does what he does and his motivation for it. What does he get out of it? What is we too busy trying to get to be accepted instead of embracing our own selves or embracing who we are and not worrying about how other people see us. Well, I mean, we got so many barriers we got to break down between one another. It's ridiculous. It
Think about
doesn't
it.
make sense.
Think about it. When you're operating on a low frequency like that, and you want to take and steal, kill, rob, and stuff, you're not in your right state of mind. You know, you're under possession. You know, um, we're not going to understand that until you have to get on that level. Like I mean, how they said in the streets, you got to get down with it in order to know what it's about. And when it's just not naturally for us to do it, and they're willing to do that. You know how they'll say some stuff like people that go explore and they go try to do different things. Some stuff we just like, no, I'm not going to do all of that.
But but yeah, think about it. We talked about this on a previous show about the two white guys from Texas who went to try to take Haiti. Right
Right.
Yes.
now, two white men pulled a gun on this man, on King Peter, the president of Liberia, and forced him to sell land. What was his protection, his tribe, his army?
They
What
was
was the
all in
state of
peace. They
Liberia?
didn't need all of that. That's what I'm trying to say. They had to be peaceful or something that they can just even get that close.
Okay. So you
Not that it's
so
right. What I'm saying is they had to be like, see, we only know hostility. We know protection. We know, hey, you know, we come up in that, so we're gonna protect. You're not just gonna be able to walk up. There's a chain of command. You just can't walk into something. It probably was a different time. They probably welcome people in. It probably wasn't no need for somebody to feel like they had to, you know, at that time. Maybe I'm not sure, but you know, they're gonna tell it one way anyway, man. They probably had to have 5 million people to come over there and do it. They're just gonna tell it that 2 million did it.
did y'all see Shaka Zulu the movie?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen
Yes.
it.
Yeah, see, but you saw when he brought him that mirror and dyed his hair. Shaka got lost for a minute. I'm
Damn.
thinking, I'm thinking that they showed us some trinkets or something, and we took our eyes off of us and looked over at what he had, and thought it was something to it,
Right.
and we wanted to get to know what do he have that I don't have. Now, this is my thing, and you might can answer this, Pan African more. Did did the Liberians study any Igbo, any
Yeah,
uh
yeah. No, I'm not sure what spiritual school of thought that they were dealing with, but I did want to add a side note that hundreds of thousands died in the civil wars between the African American Liberians and the Native Liberians. Just as a note of how serious the conflict was.
now, has it settled today, or is it still some
Yeah, to
dis?
my understanding, it has settled. You know, but you know, we did see, interesting enough, that the president of Liberia when there was that public meeting where Trump was talking about how good the president talks, how eloquent his English was. Now I don't know if he was. I guess he was serious. Just how ignorant he was of the history of Liberia. Because
I
I
wonder
think
if they
that
put
that
any
particular
money.
president.
I wonder if they put any money in Liberia.
Well, they
American
put
government.
well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know currently if they're funding, the current president, but uh, America and the West. What a lot of people don't calculate when they talk about geopolitics is how they fund these terrorists that are killing all these civilians in different parts of Africa, including
Mm.
Somalia. So they always, want to talk down on, what's going on in Mali, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Somalia, Libya, etc. But all of those particular terrorists are all funded by Europe and the United States.
Hmm.
But they'll
See,
never mention that. They conveniently leave that part out.
right. It's something, man. It's something going on. The thing is here go what I thought that the European system was first started off paganism. Then from paganism, then you got Constantine who created his brand of Christianity or a spiritual system. But I'm thinking, and this is how we think as black people in America, the motherland who where science, mathematics, language, spiritual systems began, how can this new people come with an ideology to override what was already established when we came straight forth from the creator himself?
Slick.
Destructive.
Slick.
Yeah,
Okay.
we would really have to know when it came to all of those indigenous groups that was in Liberia, were they unified, were they disunified, were they just strictly peaceful? Well, they wasn't. We know they wasn't strictly peaceful because they went to war. But what we do know is that the Americo-Liberians were definitely the minority. I think they
Right.
might still be the minority to this day when it comes to the population of Liberia. But even with them being a minority, they were
Mm.
able to rule and dominate over the entire country for over 100 years.
Okay,
I,
so what in my opinion, I believe it's because of what they witnessed from enslavement, all of that stuff that they learned. We took on the Europeans, how they behave, and took it somewhere else, which was
right.
Liberia. So
Right.
guess what? It
Yeah.
worked because just imagine the same approach, and it's being conniving, manipulation. Think about that. So you go in with a certain way, like everything's good, but then in your mindset, and it's almost like this. Let's just say if they did have a good intention, they very well could have. Okay. But then everything that they had experienced, they took it and did the same thing because that's what they
What
learned.
they
They
knew.
learned the behavior and they
So
took
Right.
that behavior forward instead of going over, like I said, and okay, learning the culture that was there and say, okay, then, like, how can we blend? It was They probably didn't give it a thought because it was
Right.
so by that time it was such a learned behavior to where it was like they did it effortless,
Yeah. We
so to
see that.
speak.
Look,
what about,
you right.
just say for instance they got there and everything was, how sometimes stuff is behind the times and it's like they knew how to do some different things even though there was different customs. But just say for instance they got there and it was like it was just worse off than they were in America.
Yeah. What we
You know
we've
what I
been around
mean?
them.
Like I remember reading in the article, it said something like when they took a lot of them over there, a lot of them got sick. You know what I'm saying? Different
Yeah.
medicines, different cultures, different climates, different things.
Malaria.
Yeah, malaria, so the immune system was different, so when a person, when you sick and or you in a situation where you are a long way from home, you get real hostile coming from like, man, I'm over here, this didn't happen to me, so that can cause some tension that amongst them without
Uh,
no particular person responsible for that. It's just you out of your element. Now
yeah.
you're sick and you're dying and
But if
I,
they would have learned the culture and different things like that, see, that's the part where if they, I believe if they would have actually got to know the people that were already there, then that's when they would have got. It could have probably helped with them not getting sick.
right. I, I,
Like
I
becoming
think
familiar with the area, becoming familiar with your surroundings.
yeah.
exactly. And think about it. They've been on a. If you were previously a slave, you was on a pork diet anyway. Your immune system was bad before you got over there anyway.
Mhm.
You eating they feeding you chitlins in the lower part of the hog and
Worst
whatnot.
of the
So
worst.
the worst worms and whatnot. So yeah, like they say, all skin folk is not kinfolk, but it's true. The mind is the man, and the man is the mind. And I can see that now. It's factual. I even look. We in America, we got a thing saying what we would say, man, son, don't let people take your kindness for weakness. But in certain countries, it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
We have to stay on the alert over here because it's that you right, that doggy dog kill or be killed mentality. But of course, being around the slave, being around the colonized for 407 odd years, look at this track record coming from Europe to America, where the Queen opened up her prisons and sent them over here to colonize. So we picking up the worst from worst. It's like a child. I
I
mean,
got a
we.
question.
Mhm.
So do you think by them purchasing the land for them to come over there, and really so when they got over there, they had a feeling like, well, that's y'all over here. We bought this over here, so y'all can't tell us how to do this. Do you think there was some conflict there because they came there and it's just like if you buy some land and you tell somebody, hey man, get off my land. And they like, hold on, man, wait a minute. I know y'all bought this, but y'all can't come over here running that. Do you think that was a conflict?
Yeah, like we stated earlier, divide and conquer. It's the same thing with the Israelis and the Palestinians.
Okay.
When in Gaza and Palestine, where they planted European, or they planted Jews in Palestine. Well, the Palestinian people were saying, "Well, we don't know these people. They come, how y'all just gonna settle them in my land?"
Yeah.
They've been trying, meaning that wasn't the first case of that.
Okay.
The first case was in Liberia. That's been a practice. Then after what took place with Hitler and World War II and with the Jews, they took them and put them in Palestine, and it's still conflict fighting today, right?
Yeah.
Mindsets, same thing in Liberia. It was conflict fighting, but it seemed like the fighting resided today because somebody had to wake up and say, "Wait a minute, we all melanated. What's the problem?" Right? Now, this is the thing. This is the thing. And this is the problem. Do y'all think that it's possible for all of us to have the same mind? The same meaning, the same spiritual base thinking that everybody can get under one and build and unite like they did with Constantine when he created Christianity. They all came under that banner. They all had one goal. It was that crossed them guns and they went and took everything together.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that when it comes to the United States, 13 colonies beforehand, I mean, to think that they could do it and that we can't, I mean, I don't see the logic in that. I mean, they got the blueprint from us. We gave it to them when we went into Europe as Moors and gave them the blueprint when it came to, you know, politics and culture, etc. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. And there was leaders in Africa like Gaddafi, like the AES now, that wanted the United States of Africa. Not saying they were the first to propose that idea, but they assassinated Gaddafi, and they've tried to assassinate, uh, Captain Ibrahim Traore at least 18, 19 times. I heard it was 20 sometimes, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. It might not happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight with the Europeans, but it could definitely be done. And I just wanted to add this note too, that when the American Liberians first landed in Liberia, half of the population died of diseases. And also, when they first landed there in 1822, they not only when they took over the land by force, it was a war. So they got it by blood. It wasn't just done by just striking up a deal or just by holding a gun to somebody's head. They got it in blood. So I just wanted to say that for the record.
Mm.
So of
Yeah.
course the native
Interesting.
Liberians is gonna be pissed off at them.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody there is gonna be like, "Are you talking about them fools over there that strong armed the land and killed off our, other people, other families that lived on the land?" I mean, if that happened here, we'd be looking at them like they're gonna do the same thing to us,
Right. But where did the
which they
guns come
did,
from?
which they did from
Who
the
supplied
American
both sides
Colonization Society.
to supply them with the guns?
Yeah, American Colonization Society had control over the politics for a very long time. I don't know exactly what year that, the American Liberians were able to, get their quote unquote independence, but yeah, they had control over their politics for quite some time.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I'm telling you, look, whether it's like when you in something, you don't see it because you in the middle of it. But if you step outside and look back in, you can see everything that's going on, right? And I'm telling you, they work the same strategy on us in America through the dope game. Same exact blueprint. I'm gonna flood these streets with this dope, and then I'm gonna flood these streets with these guns, and I'm gonna sit back and watch them go at it because the most important thing is for them not to come together.
yep.
That's the number one thing is to distract them and never let them come together. And then Willie Lynch separate them by their differences. This tribe against this tribe. This ideology against that ideology. I mean, wow. I'm just, I know, and I know I'm going at it again and again and over. It's just
But
that,
that's true. It is. It's the same strategy. It
yeah,
might look a little different, but the end result is the same.
always the same.
Absolutely.
What,
That's
and
true.
and you can't tell me, and this is what gets me, and y'all making help before we close on this, right? This what really gets me, right? Mathematics, science, everything we built and taught medicine to the world, right? Shows our greatness, right? But it's like Superman and Kryptonite, right? It's some kryptonite out there that got us like we can't pick our feet up like we stuck or something. I mean, it don't take much for us to be at each other's throat. I'm tell you something. When I was younger in elementary school, right, and the first fight I got into, I didn't want to hit nobody black, man, nobody with melanin. And as I got older, right, I really didn't want to see nobody with melanin get cut and start bleeding a shot. And it was like, you tanned up God's melanin, right? it's just even though you had to, defend yourself, but I never liked it. I never liked fighting another black person.
Right.
It pained me for my fist to hit that melanin, or me taking hits on my melanin. It's like, wow, man, we tearing each other up, and this melanin came from the gods. What is we doing? Oh, it's crazy. But I'm simply saying though,
I
and
feel your
because
pain, man. I feel your pain, bro.
yeah,
I feel your pain. I mean, growing up, I can honestly say I never knew why I had to fight all the time until I got older. You know what I mean? People just want to test you. I guess that made me one of them wild ones when I was growing up, but I never knew why we had to fight so much. I said in one of the little songs, whatever, knew why we had to fight so much. I don't know. I guess it's a rite of passage. I don't know what it is, but when we go against each other, it's madness.
madness. Because look, when I go back and see them Mandingo Warriors, them were big dudes going at it. Where you got little dudes, slim. We still going at each other. We wasn't Mandingo Warriors.
It's
We
savages
fighting to
when we
be
go against each
fighting,
other, we
bro.
become savages. When we go against each other, that's the worst of the worst when we go against each other.
But
And they
and it's
know it.
but it's telling me that look, we all intelligent, we smart. You mean to tell me that we can't come up with conflict resolutions and be diplomatic with each other? The first thing is don't let me come out the bag on you. Like we can't solve disagreements without
Yes,
going to
we
get the
can.
gun.
But see what happened. What unlike let's so to speak, like in let's say the 70s, when it was like the brotherly and sisterly love, we've gotten away from that, and that's what the problem is. And that's
Yeah,
what we need to do is get back to that.
I
right.
agree. I agree.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's one of the biggest problems.
yeah. Because I'm telling you, in 2026, it's we don't war against flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high places. We finna deal with that, coming
Yes,
coming up, and
that's
it's
true.
gonna be moving. Time gonna be moving fast. I mean, your mind it will be more valuable than your physicality.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind gonna have to be so sharp and strong moving into the future. All right.
Mm.
And that's the whole purpose of these shows that we do. Because whether y'all know it or not, we strengthening minds through communication, but that elevates thought to give a different perspective to look at something. Because the colonizer way is I'm finna get this media, I'm gonna get these television shows, and I want you to look at this the same way
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
through his narrative. But by us coming with different narratives, we can look at things from a different point of view. And by doing so, it sharpens the mind. It's giving your mental exercise. That's the whole purpose. You got to work out your mind, right?
Right.
And so,
And also we have to remember, because like you said, it's the same thing being played and over again. I'll just do it a little bit different, but the outcome is the same. So we got to remember. We got to remember.
we got to remember.
We
Look,
are talking about things that will allow us to remember.
all right,
Say, hey, this keeps happening.
right,
So we will look at things like, oh, it's brand new. It's something different. No, it's not. It's the
right.
same thing.
Same thing, same game. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna hand this ball off and run up the middle till you stop it. I'm gonna run
Oh,
it down your
I'll
throat.
give you a rock, and then I'll give you something, and I'll let you run with it. And then meanwhile, I'll stay back and keep my hands behind my back.
Right. Look. Look. It's so. I remember they did this thing. Right. They'll put a brand new car in the parking lot, leave the keys in it. Right. And somebody would get in that car every time and thought they hit a lick, and they pull them over, lock them up. You caught
Bait car. I think I see that.
bait car. Like, well, dude, come on, man. Who
Set
gonna think
up.
about
It's
it?
a setup. That's it. We
It's
gotta
a
stop doing some
setup.
things.
You gonna
That's
leave a
right.
brand
Like,
new
look,
Benz?
that's right. If it look too good, something's not right.
Someday,
And
right?
that's when the part that comes in about critically thinking. We
Right.
have to think. We need to think, and we have to
Right.
encourage people to think.
Right. Don't let them think for you.
Yes.
Read it
Yes.
and think for yourself, bro.
Yes.
That's the cause, bro. But before we go, Pan African more on this, we don't war against flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high places. Any advice to prepare ourselves for what's getting ready to come?
Man, unify or die. You know, the reason why I speak on Liberia is because it's just to show that we all got blood on our hands. So nobody should have a holier than thou kind of attitude when it comes to our people. You know, now, of course, we can't unify with sellouts, but, for those that we could find common ground with, and we could put the petty differences to the side. We need to do that and move forward, because those who are running countries, like the AES, that's exactly what they did. And that's the reason why they're building infrastructure ultra fast, while they're, have created a trend in Africa now to where other countries are following their blueprint, like Botswana is following their blueprint, for example, their
Mm.
president when it comes to also, leading by example. Because one thing that Captain Ibrahim Traore does is, we know that he kept the same salary. He dresses his military uniform, and he lives he kept the same lifestyle. He didn't get into the president, position in order to become rich like a lot of the sellout leaders over there do. And the same thing over here, where you got people who get in certain positions, they sell out for the money. They don't care about integrity. The money comes
Right.
first. So, my advice is to study the world, study geopolitics, uh, and use that in order to have a better understanding of how we should be moving over here when in regards to power, wealth, and resources. And it also, if you follow the money, that'll show you. And we used to say this on the podcast, Brother Black, that you can find out what's going on business wise if you follow the money. When you
Right.
follow the resources, that'll let you know what's really going on. It ain't about, when you hear President Trump making a lot of outlandish statements, but you got to look at the resources.
I have one other thing to say.
Come on.
Something most important, we have to watch, be mindful of letting people pick us.
What you mean?
You know how someone give you, esteem you to a place where, oh, I got picked to do this or whatever. What are you being chosen for?
Oh, right,
They send people
exactly.
in all the time.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I got picked, so let me go
But
in. You
but
being sent in to do something.
look,
You're being used and set up.
look,
Infiltration.
look, they so cold. Look, I'm gonna tell you how cold they are. I'm gonna tell you how cold they are. They will study you, right? They gonna study your habits. They gonna know what you like to eat, your type as far as a mate, right? And when you out, they gonna send that one right to you, and they know how. They cold with it. I mean,
That's right.
it's like, but this is the thing, and that's why I said I don't have to play or hit the game, right? This is the thing. If they see something and they want it bad enough, they gonna try everything in their power to go get it. I mean,
That's
they
right.
turn over tables
E-
trying to go get it.
right.
Like
Even
example,
picking our leaders. Think about that.
yeah, they pick out with lead. Oh, they
They
look,
pick our leaders.
look. Every leader we had, not every leader, a lot of leaders we had were on their mindset and their frequency. No, sir. But brother Pan, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying that whenever you speaking on Trump, and when he comes out and talks about these countries, you have to look first. You have to know, is the president a sellout? So if you talk about Nigeria and what's going on with the conflicts there, you got to understand who's funding those terrorists, which is the European West and the United States funding those terrorists in Nigeria. Then you have to understand that the president is basically a sellout. So before people start making public statements, as if they know what's going on there, they need to study the background, understand the resources, that these places have, because the United States is not helping anybody and they're not invading anything if there's no resources
No,
to be
exactly.
had.
So who's
That's right.
funding the American terrorists that's shooting up neighborhoods and kids in the bed sleep, and the terrorists come and take them out?
Hey,
Somebody
well, hey,
funding them?
well, are we the ones producing the drugs and producing the guns?
Nah, we we
Oh,
we
okay. Well,
can't.
there your answer.
We,
Well, there
there
your
you go.
answer.
There you go. Fun. We got to look. It's like we were just saying, the same things all over. We just think it's different because it's us, and they think it's different because it's them. No, it's they running the same play on you. We doing the exact same thing.
Like being stuck in repeat.
And repeat. Look, you go to any hood on this planet in any country, and they got us doing the same thing. But guess what? But guess what? And
Mm,
and and
mm,
I don't. I'm down with Coptic. I'm down with the Gnostics. But his thought of religion is in all them places. How he perceived.
mm.
They all under this, all doing it. And look, and the funny part about it is, we all, no matter where you go, it's gonna be like they did with the Siberian Native Americans. It's gonna be alcohol, his religion, poverty, and drugs everywhere. And he making money off our living. He cleaning up.
That's the cloning of Tyrone.
That's the clone of Tyrone. He
Hey,
he's
hey,
so.
Black. Hey, Black. No, I was just no. Go ahead, Black. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You right. He,
No, no, I'm
bro.
just. Mm-hmm.
No, last point I'm saying. I'm sure it was so crazy. Where I get on Houston too, right? Houston is the most diverse city in the world, right? We got our people from every corner in Houston, right? And we ain't doing business with each other. Like we so crazy. Like, man, I ain't doing business with them Somalis. I don't know them Africans, man, bro. But yet you at the corner store, man. Let me hold $3. And this man got a business plan over there, man.
I know.
Hey, bro, it make sense is what I'm saying.
That's why we need shows like this, man, to really, really strengthen the mentals, dog. Because it's without stuff like this, it's just gonna keep going on. Maybe we'll save a few.
But because we got to bypass the accent. Because if say an African come to you, say he be like, brother, what you need to do? We like, nigga, you don't tell me what I need to do. We ready to jump on him, right? But he don't understand. Look, he don't understand how to speak the language of the people in order to be successful, because he not in it. He got to sit back and study us too and be like, no, this is how you approach him. Hey, bro, look, you know what I'm saying? Okay, cool.
It's a
Because if you
double-edged
come
sword
to
with that, though. It's a double-edged sword because, like Pebble said, if he come in and take time to study the customs, depending on who he study, he might come at a brother the wrong way, trying to study the wrong brother and really get, you know what I mean?
all
So
right,
he
yeah,
gonna have to kind of play it by ear a little bit,
yeah,
because
because
he got some brothers'
Right.
mentality ain't
we
in the
on
right
edge.
place. And if you study them and then you come to somebody with their head on straight, they're gonna be saying, "Man, this dude all about that game."
But now
Yeah.
we can take a lesson from Pan African Moors for us. He will walk through the city of Houston different neighborhoods, but you got to have a certain love for your people to do that.
Yeah.
Because some people, man, I ain't going over on the other side of town with them niggas. I ain't going over there. I ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How we gonna bridge the gap if somebody don't reach out? Meaning, there's a there's a need to do it. There's a need. Man, bro, they cold with it. Like I said, bro, they can
Absolutely.
dress up a white rapper, throw him in the hood, and everybody following. I mean, they cold with it, but hey, man, it is. And then the funny part about it is,
and using, hold on, they taking and utilizing what they've seen from us.
yeah, but he goes
So
in there and go.
How can somebody in their mindset they supersede that? I mean, like literally.
How you?
I know it's like this. So it fathom this. So there's a young lady. She creates this dance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she created it. She got it down. So you get somebody else to do it. They're fair skinned.
Yeah.
Everybody's still black. So
Right.
hold on a minute. How can this person outshine the originator?
Right. How?
That's our mindset.
That's
our
our
mindset.
That's
the
mindset. We
They looking at this.
That's right. And they got us looking at it.
Yeah, so really that's what that is. I'm like, come on.
Bro, they
Hey,
come in the community, go back and tell their people everything they see and give them a advantage, an edge on us. And we so at awe for some reason. I still ain't figured that out. Man, ain't nothing more beautiful than a black woman. Ain't nothing. In my mindset, from what I seen, I done traveled. Nothing. And matter of fact, they try to be like the sisters. They want the tan, they want the lips, they want the hips, they want to sing like they want to be like the prototype.
But everybody's just watching on the day. This is the agenda. Okay. We know what we are going to do next because we will wait for them to create something, and then guess what? We'll take and use build from whatever they create, and that's it.
Right. And find a way to.
It's perpetual. It's perpetual. That's it.
Keep going on, and they find a way to.
Right, feeding off of us.
I appreciate it,
feeding. And that's just it.
That's it. And they find a way to move us to the back. And then if they don't have enough people to take it, they'll just create AI and get the voice, and they don't need you no more. And I just get this AI to sound just like you and make the money. I can copyright it, I can patent it, and I'm still cleaning up, because we are gonna create. We are creators. We are the creator. We the creators, of course. But it's we so humble in spirit that we create and we want to see them do right. Just like they beat Rodney King down to the death, and all he said was, "Can we all get along?" The lady. That's like damn to kill him. Can we just get along? In Dallas, Fort Worth 1, when that white lady police officer shot that brother in his apartment, he was eating ice cream. The judge gave her Bible and hugged her. Like we just, we just so, and in their mindset, they like, damn, I could run roughshod over these. They no threat at all. They don't pose a threat. Right. And it's not that we don't want to pose a threat. It's just that, damn, man, but time changes. Enough has been enough, but it's wow. It's wild, bruh. It's wild, y'all. But on that note, man, we ride. I appreciate this ride and this show, and I appreciate you all sharing y'all intellect and y'all thought because it's very important, you know. And we be look, we in today's society, things moving 100 miles an hour. A lot of stuff is going on, and we take the time to give our take on life that will help others and their endeavors in life and on their journey, you know. And this topic, American to Liberia, history that a lot of people didn't know and didn't understand and didn't know the hands that was in it. But it's because history will repeat itself if you don't know. At least you all can know what to look out for because Trump just said he wanted all the Somalians to go back to their country. Genealogy. What if he say, you know what? Now, what if here, ICE moving the Hispanics to Mexico, getting them back to their countries in Venezuela and whatnot. He wants the Africans and Somalis, and he talking about Nigeria. Now, what if, which there's no proof to prove that we are here, we the black natives in America, and the reason why I say that because when you take the DNA test, your Native American DNA don't show up. It only goes back to Africa. How can we say, well, we born here, this is ours, and they say, well, prove it. Let's do the DNA. Well, they got the DNA set up to where it don't even detect any Native American blood.
Of course.
Right, because it's going to one direction only. It's going one direction. So they don't really
They don't
it's
know.
almost like they don't have enough samples. They don't. And
They
so
don't have
that's
enough.
why it's directing everybody to Africa. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. What you
Hey,
think,
Black.
Penny?
But yeah, you know, and well, as far as the indigenous aspect, I mean, just gotta we have to and you know, I got a partner of mine. He says that he's going to provide me with more links in order to dig into your family background and start uncovering more of our lineage and you know where our people come from. I mean, we have arguably the most diverse genetics in the world because of the triangular slave trade. So you know our people in our bloodline is going to be from many different places, many different groups of people, you know, both domestic and international. But I wanted to add this too. What we was talking about before the broadcast, Black, was when it comes to doing business. So me personally, you know, most of my clothing is Black owned, and I've been buying Black owned for a long time, for years. And during the process of this, I bought things and sent it back, didn't get a refund. I done bought stuff and never got the items. And I never go on public platforms and slander these companies. I give them grace because I know that it's not going to do any good for our people as a whole to go and slander, you know, our people, because that's going to add to the narrative that we shouldn't be doing business with our own people. You know, the same, you know, these same type of things with ordering things. You know, I find these same issues with, dealing with other companies from other racial groups. So it's not just strictly Black people that I've had issues with in terms of, buying things or business and commerce, but my point is that the same, grace that we give to, let's say, our own people, we should, and when the Africans are our people, but I'm just
Right.
saying within the context of doing business is that we shouldn't approach doing business with Africans or Caribbean people as everything got to be perfect, and as if there's you might not run into the same issues when you're doing business with African Americans. The same way that we promote so much of doing business with African Americans, and we may give them grace, if a deal doesn't go the right way. You might not deal with that individual anymore, but that doesn't mean that you got to blast on the entire group of African Americans and say, well, you should never do business with African Americans ever again
Right.
because you had some bad business dealings with some African Americans. So when we
Right.
do business with Africans or people from the Caribbean or our people from South America, we shouldn't just try to publicly throw them in the garbage just because, we may have some bad dealings. You got to give your people grace everywhere because perfection doesn't exist on earth. It's never going to be a perfect thing, but you have
Right.
to understand and know that it's real ones and it's fake ones, so you're going to always be able to find real businessmen and businesswomen and people who are doing legit business when you find our people all over the world. So the same way everybody always put the scammer tag on Nigerians, how many scammers do I know personally? I ain't gonna say y'all names if y'all see this. Y'all might, hey, I can say a lot, but I can say a lot about this neighborhood, but I ain't gonna
Right.
say it, but I'm just saying, how many scammers
Right.
I've met in my life that's African
Right.
Americans. So ain't
Right.
no holier than thou,
Man,
let's
what
give
you
grace to our
saying?
people everywhere.
For real. Look, come on.
Let's do
I,
business with our people everywhere.
last question before we go. We're gonna start with Pebbles though. I just want y'all to take on this, right? November 25th to December 2nd, they had the blackout, right? Well, we wasn't participating. We not going to Target and whatnot. Do y'all think that all the Africans should participate in that boycott with us and post it on their social media to show that
Everybody, I mean,
solidarity?
look, whenever, let's say whenever a racist act is done, it's not done just towards an African American. It's done towards anybody. It's done towards us, the people of color. So how would that not apply? So
Right,
everybody should participate.
right. What
But
you
see,
think?
if
Oh,
we there you go. That's that division again.
that's
It
that
goes
right.
right back to division,
That
division.
division. That
Yeah,
division.
I
Right.
agree. I agree because you have to show that unity. If there's no unity in it, they're gonna be like, well, see, it's mixed views, but like they used to say back in the days, we'll settle all our differences amongst each other, but not in the public. In the public is a united front. What we do inside at home, and we have our discussions and stuff like that to get it all together. But when we're out in front of the world, we do need to be united, all people of color.
What you think, Pan African Moore?
And also we shouldn't always assume that those in the Caribbean and those who have African blood are not participating in these things because if you go and
Right.
you look up all of the actors, and some of your favorite actors that you've been watching for decades, you're gonna find out they got an African parent, a Caribbean parent, your Nia Longs, and so on and so
The
forth.
UK,
Y'all
right?
can do y'all own research. Yeah, you can do your own research, but I mean, the list is a mile long. It's longer than the Nile River, So a lot of our people, they have a parent that's from, the Caribbean or from Africa, and they're a part of these protests, So we can't just always assume. I know plenty of people that if they didn't never say that they had a Haitian parent or a parent I would have never known.
Right.
Co-workers,
But right.
co-workers you know, that have a Nigerian parent, shout out to Mina, what I mean? Like
Right.
you would never know, until
Right.
you ask them. So, we can't
Right.
just assume that we don't have solidarity. We got more solidarity than we even
Well,
know.
true. But
Right.
we in the black Americans, we want you to come out and say it. We want to see it. We want you to say, I stand with you guys. I'm boycotting. I want you to, we want to hear it. You know what I mean? But I do understand silence is
Well,
golden.
right. It's better because then you never know.
Right. Yeah. We don't know. You never know. We do say it. Like say it loud. We want you. You know what though? You right. We gotta learn each other cultures because we can't make y'all into us and y'all can't make us into y'all. We had different experiences. True.
That's right. And that's the key. They different experiences. So they
Right.
allow for different mindsets. But
Right.
now in this day and time, we are able to find out a lot more.
Right.
And guess
Yeah.
what? We have to learn from each other.
That's right. Key.
Oh,
And I'm
and
with it.
also black, and also black. You know, like I started especially since May, I started to subscribe to a lot of African channels, and I started to
Mm-hmm.
get it straight from their mouth how they feel about their people and what's going on in their countries. And when you
Right.
go in the comment section, man, you know, and even whenever they speak on African Americans, you see so many free people from so many different countries in support of our people. So
Come
we
on.
can't just go off of somebody that's monetizing hate and
Right.
think that that's how all the people feel. You know, because I
Right.
see something, you know, I remember they say that Africans say that they not black, but all these channels I've been subscribed to that I've been
Yeah.
watching, they say that they black all day, every day. They say
Yeah.
that they got love for us. And not only do they say they got love for us, they said that, you know, don't believe the hype. You know, it's only the fake that's
Right.
into division.
Come on.
And that's why I keep saying you're gonna find real and fake everywhere you go. So don't
Right.
get all wrapped up in the fake and try to blanket groups of people based on some fake people.
Right. And I
See, and
saw.
that's why I like TikTok. I love
Yeah.
TikTok. Because you could just go on someone's live and just stay in the comments. And then you get to find out a whole lot.
Come on. Okay. Okay. TikTok. I have seen some Dominicans. I seen
Oh
some.
yeah, especially when everybody get together, then you're like, wow, okay.
Right. We
And
good.
I mean, that's the thing. You can let in the diversity is there.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's there. And
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Yeah.
All you have to do is sit back and listen. Sit back, listen, and learn.
Yeah. I
But then, of
seen
course,
let.
some junk.
I seen in Mexico, Veracruz, and they saying I'm black, Afro, Latino, my so and so, and they, you know what I mean? It's and I guess it's and I uh, will relegate it to this show, but there's a movement of proudness that's going on around the world. You know what I mean? A movement is going around the world. But look, thank you guys again, man, for a wonderful show and the enlightenment and y'all beautiful minds, man. I sure appreciate that. Until next time, though, y'all, bro, pick radio pebbles, OG Alex, Pan African War. Look here, y'all. We out.
Yeah, yeah.